A wild hog hunt begins with more urgency than ever before. In this region, feral hogs have become an invasive force, causing millions of dollars in agricultural damage. Our mission today is clear: control their numbers and protect the local ecosystem. Using the dense forest terrain to our advantage, the team quickly launched a fast-paced sweep and intercept strategy. Modern rifles were locked in, tracking gear ready. This isn't just a hunt. This is a survival race for environmental and economic balance. The decisive battle for order has officially begun. We set out at daybreak, immediately deploying the strategy mapped out from the start. Soon after, I spotted a herd moving along the hillside. Seizing the tactical opportunity, I targeted and dropped the largest hog in the group. Taking down that first key target disrupted the herd and gave us a huge tactical advantage, an excellent beginning for the hog control mission. Moments later, startled by the gunshot, another herd bolted through a narrow passage, scrambling for escape. We had already predicted this route. Without hesitation, we opened fire and took down several critical targets. Back-to-back wins lit a fire in the whole team. We were ready for the next chase. My teammate Jack then showed impressive tactical instincts. He quickly cut off the escape path of a panic-stricken hog. The animal ran straight into Jack's ambush zone. Wasting no time, he squeezed the trigger and dropped the target instantly. His decisive action eliminated another threat and helped secure peace for the area. From a ridge across the valley, I continued scanning the terrain and spotted a hog that had let its guard down. Sensing the perfect opportunity, I took the shot and brought it down immediately. Its moment of carelessness came with a price, another step toward restoring safety to this land. Using long-range sweep tactics, Jack detected another moving target far in the distance. He dialed in his scope, made his adjustments, and let a precise burst of shots fly, leaving the hog no room to escape. Eventually, the target fell, proving Jack's exceptional long-range shooting skills, the mark of a seasoned, battle-tested hunter. The final target, a massive boar, charged out from a thick patch of brush. We had predicted its path. In an instant, it was met with a clean, well-placed shot that brought it down, closing today's hunt with a decisive and complete finish. The last gunshot faded, marking the end of the mission. Our greatest achievement today was taking control of the destructive herd and restoring peace to the local community. We packed up carefully, ensuring every harvested animal was properly recorded in full compliance with U.S. hunting laws and bag limits. As we rode back on the pickup truck, the whole team let out a collective sigh of relief. Now is the time when wild boars typically emerge at the forest's edge to forage for food. Hungry, alert, and aggressive, they are ready to attack if threatened. Realizing the danger of them approaching the village, we decided to take action to stop the threat. This hunt was not only a journey to face danger, but also a responsibility to protect the community. In the deep forest, every step we took was cautious. For ahead, there could be wild eyes waiting. It was only 5 a.m. when the roar of the engine echoed down the road, leading to the Vazquez forest. Upon arrival, we quickly gathered, confirmed the plan, and took our positions in hiding. Tension was high as our eyes scanned every movement around us. Suddenly, an unusual sound broke the silence. My finger tensed on the trigger. When the target appeared, the shot rang out, cutting through the wild run with a thunderous boom. That powerful move not only took down the beast, but also reinforced our determination to protect the sacred forest from the destruction of these wild creatures. As we moved deeper into the forest, every sense was heightened. Minutes later, the familiar rustle and strong scent filled the air. The wild boars had appeared. The shot rang out instantly, and each fleeing boar met its end at the muzzle of my rifle. In the blink of an eye, the chase was over. The beasts lay quietly on the cold ground, and for now, the forest had been saved from the lurking danger. At the same time, to the east of the forest, Nick spotted a herd of wild boars rushing through like a storm. Without hesitation, his finger tightened on the trigger, dropping a few of them instantly. However, the rest could not escape. We had already set up checkpoints, ready to coordinate in case the situation changed. Everything unfolded under control, an excellent result from a precise plan and a mentality ready to face danger. Deep within the forest is always the ideal place to approach the target. Without hesitation, I silently moved deeper. After a stretch of movement, I paused to observe. The silence around me felt suffocating. Suddenly, a shadow flickered in my sights. When it reached the crosshairs, I squeezed the trigger, and the bullet flew with precision. In the wild, only calmness and decisiveness can define the line between predator and prey. Receiving word that wild boars had appeared, we immediately moved to the scene. As soon as we arrived, the herd was already visible. Without hesitation, my team and I opened fire. A few dropped on the spot after accurate shots, and the rest quickly scattered. I immediately reported to Nick at the checkpoint. Just minutes later, the completed report came through. Another threat had been neutralized in time. After scanning the forest, we focused on the dense thickets, perfect hiding spots for the wild boars. Soon enough, the shadows of the boars appeared scattered throughout. Without letting them escape, we acted decisively, each shot landing with precision, ending the threat. Another part of the forest had been saved from the destructive grip of these relentless creatures. Forest's edge, the ambush team spotted a few wild boars frantically fleeing from their den. After hours of intense pursuit, the battle finally came to an end. Peace had temporarily returned. The villagers could now rest easy, knowing that the danger from the deep forest had been pushed back. In Sweden, chaos has struck the countryside. The land is torn apart, trees lie scattered, and wild boar tracks are stamped thickly across the ground. There's no doubt, a large herd has just swept through the area. Nick's hunting team swiftly arrived at the scene. After careful observation and assessment, they immediately deployed their formation and established communication between positions. The chase has begun, and every step must be executed with absolute precision. This time, who will dominate the game? Don't take your eyes off, the showdown is right before you. A flawless ambush, leaving no trace behind, marks the start of today's battle. Nick quietly approaches the predetermined spot. Through his binoculars, he quickly spots the target. The beast weaves through the trees, desperately trying to make it back to its den. The decisive moment arrives. The shot rings out with pinpoint accuracy, and the beast drops instantly. Pushing deeper into the heart of the territory, Nick's eyes never stop scanning the surroundings. Suddenly, a whole herd of boars moves leisurely ahead. He quickly finds his position and lines up a precise shot. The moment the target falls into his sights, a burst of gunfire rings out decisively. In the blink of an eye, two fall, while one manages to slip through the net. Each shot fired stands as a clear testament to the skill and experience of a true professional hunter. At the same time, James executes a meticulous ambush. Despite the dim light, he maintains unwavering focus. Then, a wild boar slips into his sharp line of sight. There's no escape. Without hesitation, the crisp crack of gunfire breaks the silence, neutralizing another threat to the forest. That sound is a clear declaration. The battle continues, with challenges that never cease. The next morning, a blanket of pristine snow stretched out before Nick's team, momentarily catching them off guard. But nothing could stop them from pressing forward toward the neighboring forest, where danger still lurked, threatening the peace of this countryside. With firm, deliberate steps cutting through the biting sub-zero cold, they approached the forest edge. Then, Nick's keen eyes spotted a familiar silhouette darting across the snowy backdrop. A swift, precise trigger squeeze quickly ended another threat, marking the start of a fierce new battle amid harsh weather conditions. After moving for a while, Nick came to a halt and gently raised his modern binoculars for a closer look. Beneath the blanket of pristine snow, the massive shape of the beast stood out unmistakably. A cold, decisive shot rang out. No room for error. Its reign of destruction was officially over, restoring peace to the forest once more. Before he could even move in for a closer look, the sharp baying of the hunting dogs echoed through the forest. Nick sprang into action, eyes scanning the thick tree line, locking onto his target. There it was. The thunderous crack of gunfire shattered the silence. The mission executed flawlessly. Another threat neutralized, giving the locals peace of mind once again. The gunfire has fallen silent, marking the end of a fierce battle and restoring peace to the countryside. Today's victory is the result of close collaboration between the hunting team, local farmers, and authorities, all united in protecting the crops from harm. We deeply appreciate and honor their invaluable contributions. Think hunting wild boar is easy? Try chasing down a 400-pound beast charging like a bullet through dense forest. The ground trembles with every thunderous step. Dust clouds rise, and you have to weave through thick trunks and slash past thorny branches tearing at your skin. Each hunt is a life-or-death battle, where only the bravest survive till the end. And these hunters don't face the danger for sport. They stand guard to protect people, land, and nature from the brutal destruction wild boars bring. Today, we join Thomas on a hunt as he strides straight into the heart of the beast's lair. One by one, the team moves to their assigned positions. Suddenly, Thomas's footsteps slow. He thinks he hears something. Yes, the sharp barks of the hunting dogs ring out. He moves towards the fierce noise. Minutes later, right before him stands a colossal wild boar. Oh my god! It charges like a whirlwind, but it's already too late. One shot clean and decisive ends it all. The heavy beast collapsing lifeless at his feet. A masterful, cool-headed move by Thomas. The perfect opening for a relentless battle to come. But Thomas didn't stop there. He moved on to his hiding spot, slipping in quietly and scanning every movement around him, always ready for a fight. Before long, an unexpected figure dashed right into Leon's line of sight. Without hesitation, he squeezed the trigger decisively. The beast tried to flee, but it hadn't gotten far before it lay still and silent. Deep inside the forest, Leon crouched in his hiding spot, fully focused on every sound and movement around him. Suddenly, a hefty wild boar charged wildly through the underbrush. In the blink of an eye, Leon went through his practiced routine, raising his gun and pulling the trigger. Just one bullet was enough to halt the beast's furious sprint. A threat swiftly dealt with, clean, precise, and final. While Leon was still inspecting the fallen beast, an intense battle was unfolding on the other side of the hill. Thomas was already there, sweeping through the thick bushes. Suddenly, the sharp baying of hunting dogs echoed nearby, followed moments later by the towering silhouette of a monstrous creature. One fatal mistake. It stepped right into Thomas's line of sight. The next gunshot ended all resistance, swift and final. Continuing down to the flat terrain below, Thomas crossed over rough patches of ground. Before his eyes had fully scanned the area, a sudden whirlwind of motion burst forth, leaving him momentarily dazed as he tried to regain focus. The sharp crack of the gunshot came just in time, stopping the beast dead in its tracks. It collapsed, unable to take another step. A decisive move, cutting off every possible escape route for the creature. As the evening sun began to fade, Thomas seized the chance to track down any stragglers left behind. After moving for a while, he paused, taking cover beneath a thick bush. His focus never wavered. Every sense was on high alert. In an instant, a shadow appeared right in his sights. Without a single wasted move, dust kicked up into the air, and a sharp sound marked the end of this threat. This is not just a hunt. It's a battle between courage and survival. Only the bravest stand strong until the very end. Hunting wild boar has never been easy. It demands sacrifice, facing danger head-on, and staying ready for anything. As harvest season approached, fear began to spread across the village. A monstrous wild boar had been ravaging fields, destroying not only crops, but also entire livelihoods. This wasn't just a hungry animal, it was a force of chaos. In the face of this threat, we were called in to take action. This was my first time joining a team of professional hunters on such a dangerous mission. Could I stand my ground, or would I be the first to fall? Let's find out. By 5 a.m., we were already on the hunting truck headed straight toward the Moravia fields. Everyone was fired up, heading into position, according to the plan. With years of experience, the hunters quickly identified the patterns and paths of the boars. While I was still scanning the area, Jay spotted the target. A quick adjustment, and the first shot rang out. A 200-kilo beast had no time to retreat. It went down instantly from a precise burst of fire. It all happened fast, but it lit a fire of determination in all of us for the journey ahead. I continued tracking my targets, and then luck hit. A boar appeared in the open. I followed the steps just as I'd practiced. Boom! A shot more accurate than I expected. Before I could lower my weapon, another figure emerged. I held steady, confident, and took the next shots with calm precision. Victory was ours. Even as a rookie, I felt proud to have pulled my weight and completed the mission flawlessly. Meanwhile, Jay caught sight of a herd grazing at the field's edge. No stranger to the hunt, he acted fast, dropping one after another with near-perfect accuracy. What could have turned into a wave of destruction was stopped before it even began. Without hesitation, I moved steadily along the eastern edge of the field. Suddenly, a herd of wild boars appeared clustered right in front of me. I adjusted the scope, pulled the trigger, missed. The entire herd panicked and bolted into the pine forest nearby. I immediately radioed Jay and the others. The response was quick, fluid, professional, like muscle memory. In seconds, a new formation was in place. We pushed on. No one wanted to let this chance slip. Jay led the charge, navigating the rough terrain with confidence, following every faint sign left behind. When the target appeared again, his finger tightened on the trigger. One clean final shot. The boar dropped. We had stopped it from escaping and saved another part of this land from destruction. Jay wasn't finished. He moved deeper into the forest, knowing the thick terrain made the perfect hiding spot for stragglers. And he was right. With sharp instincts and years of experience, he flushed them out. Every shot found its mark. Boar after boar went down. The battlefield shifted entirely in our favor once more, Jay commanding like a seasoned general, every move precise and unstoppable. After that win, Jay led us forward, not a single moment wasted, every sense on high alert. And it paid off one by one. Targets fell under my sights. Clean shots, no hesitation, no escape. The final call came through, mission complete. But more than just a victory, it was relief. For the villagers, the nightmare had ended. Their land and their peace was safe again. In southern France, a once peaceful village suddenly lost its familiar rhythm of life. Amid the vast pine forests, roars echoed through the trees, branches snapped, and soil and rocks were overturned. The culprits were none other than wild boars, fighting to reclaim their territory. Not only were they destroying the villagers' crops, but they were also charging at anyone venturing into the woods. A sense of unease settled over every small home, making the usual tranquility of Provence feel fragile. We understood that the time to act had come. The hunt for wild boars to protect our homeland needed to begin immediately. We arrived at Jack's house at the break of dawn. Having prepared our gear the night before, we climbed into our old SUV, a faithful companion that had been with us for many years, and drove deep into the pine forest. Turning away from the forest edge, the team followed wet tracks and the rustling of fallen leaves. We predicted that the prey would move along the hillside, weaving through thickets toward the small valley below. After an hour of tracking and pinpointing possible paths, we discussed our plan and then concealed ourselves behind the bushes. As the group had anticipated, from a distance the shapes of wild boars appeared. They charged forward with relentless force. I took my position, aimed carefully, and squeezed the trigger. The decisive shot brought the animal down in an instant, restoring peace to the village and protecting its people from the attack of these fierce creatures. By midday, the sun was high overhead as we roamed through the forests where the wild boars had been spotted. With the help of our loyal hunting dogs, we were able to control the herd's movement, driving them toward the team's ambush positions. The dogs' barking echoed through the trees as the hounds pushed the targets into the open. The herd surged forward, charging straight at us. Nick held his position, and a perfectly aimed shot completed the flawless coordination. Despite our best efforts, the sheer power and numbers of the herd allowed us to take down only a few. This was not just an ordinary hunt, it was a team operation, where practice, strategy, technological support, and instinct converged to give us the upper hand against the wild boars. Moving deeper into the forest, we stopped to rest atop a small hill. I kept my eyes on the surroundings and suddenly spotted another wild boar wandering onto the trail. It had no idea that this path was already within our line of sight. This was the golden opportunity. Without hesitation, I held my breath and took the shot. Our mission was not just a hunt. We had to protect the crops and the villagers. I fired a few more rounds, and the remaining targets were soon neutralized, bringing this short but intense survival battle to an end. Did that shot make your heart skip a beat? Give me a like if you think it was cool. As the sun began to set, a few straggling wild boars came into the team's line of sight. Through the iron fence, my teammate Jack quickly aimed and took down one. Another approached, and now it was my turn. I took a deep breath, stayed calm, and waited for the perfect moment, then squeezed the trigger. In that instant, I realized that a hunter's skill is not just about strength or speed, but also about patience, reading every gesture of the animal, and seizing the opportunity with absolute precision. As dusk settled in, when everything seemed to have come to an end, I suddenly spotted the prey peeking from behind the dry tree trunks. I held my breath and pulled the trigger decisively, but this time, luck was on its side. The boar thrashed violently and disappeared into the dense forest. Even though I failed at the very last moment, looking back on the day, I still felt a sense of fulfillment. I sat and gazed at the SUV trunk, packed full of our results, tired yet exhilarated. These weren't just the spoils of the hunt, they were a testament to teamwork, patience, and each hunter's skill, all for the peace and safety of the villagers' lives.